Alright, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do straps. Depending on the size of your strap, we're going to cut ourselves a strip. Now this is, I don't know if I can get this. These are 1-inch squares, so this is 2 inches across. And depending on how long you strap, you make it that long. Now if you're doing for a dress, you figure out where you want to have the back of the strap. And if you're going to cross over, you're going to keep it so it's on the opposite side of your neck to the shoulder. So it's going to, so this is your neck, or this is your neck. Let's say this is your neck. You're going to put this over here. You're going to take this one and you're going to wrap it around and then to the front. So that your neck, like I said, this is the pivot point. This is on the back. If you're crisscrossing, and you go around your neck to where your shoulder is in the front. That's how long. Add 2 to 3 inches on your strip. That way you know you have more than enough fabric. Especially if you decide to do a tube strap, which I already have videos for and I've shown you. But this is a different way to do it. So you can just come and put your there and cut this, or if you don't think you have enough fabric that way, or if you don't want to do it that way, you can fold it over, take the end of your strip, pin it there on the fold, pin it down there, make sure you're all flat, and pin it at the bottom. Now remember, this is 2 inches wide, and you're going to cut this, and because you normally need 2 straps, unless you're only going with a single strap, which is a possibility, and pin this. Now remember, these were 2-inch wide squares, and there's a reason, and I'm just doing a little short one so you can see. You're going to take this, you're going to fold it like this. Now if you have an iron, you're going to iron it lightly. You don't want to put a crease in it yet. But because I don't have an iron, I have to make sure I get the fabric exact. And this is why. And then you're going to take a pin. A lot of people use clips nowadays, and that's fine too. This is the way I was brought up. And I have a little easier time with it. So what you're doing is you're now making a 1-inch piece of fabric. Although it's not going to be an inch when you get done, because remember we have our seam allowance, which could be a 1/4 inch, could be a 1/2 inch, depending on how much you want. And then you sew down the edge, and then you turn this. So I'll show you that in a minute. So, all right. Don't forget, you want to back stitch the top and the bottom. So anything you don't like, trim it, and at the edges give it an angle. So it just helps it lay a little flatter. Not much, but a little bit. And then trim it down. So it looks like that. Now, let me see. Now this is how I do my turning. I use my fly swatter, put a pin through here, and I put it over this. And there's a reason for that. And then you try to get it to go backwards. See if I can get this to do what I want it to do. It doesn't always work the way I want it to, but keep going till you can get it to go over the top the way you want it to. Okay, I'll be right back. So my pin is down in there now. So you just kind of pull. And it didn't work this time, but I think I have it far enough down that I might be able to get in there with these. There. Pull it through. I did something wrong with that setup, so, but it did work a little bit. Now, where your seam is, you're going to try and make this as flat as you can. And this is where you can also take your turning thing, just to kind of give it a uniform. Just so you can see where you want. See, the seam's kind of crooked, so we're gonna give it a twist. And what you do is, as you pull it off your ruler or whatever you've used, you iron it. And I'm finger pressing because that's what I have. But like I said, because you can see it's trying to turn, so you're going to keep turning it back to where you want it, and you're going to iron it. You're going to iron that down until it's nice and flat. Depending on the material, you're not going to want it too hot because you'll melt the material. Now, you can put a stitch like that, which will hold it flat. Now, then what you're going to do is you're going to try to basically make an inside cuff. Like that, if I can get it to go in. Some materials it's really easy. Some materials it's an impossible thing to do. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is not going to be seen. Make a stitch across that just to hold it down, and you can do that on both sides, both ends. Trim up anything that like this, trim it up. Try and cup it. again, stitch across, and there's your strap. Now, I'm going to say this is your dress or your shirt or whatever. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure, wrong side, you've hemmed it, which you should have if you're doing strapless. So you can either, this is your neck, so this is going to be on top just to give you an idea. So you're going to take it and you're going to try to angle it. Most people are going to say, no, you want it straight. But if you put it straight and then you do this, it's not going to lay right. Whereas if you put it at an angle towards the direction, because we want to go that way, you want to try and do it this way. See how much nicer it lays? It's not got this big old bubble back here. It lays a lot nicer. So put it at an angle. Might behoove you put on your dress inside out. Have somebody with a marker. If it's not a dress that you're going to give to anybody or anything else, you can use a regular marker, or you can get fabric marker. Chalk works well, and have them mark where your neck is, and that way you can decide where you want it. Now I'm showing this as like right up against your neck. In all actuality, you want to come back about half an inch to an inch. That way you have plenty of room to go around your neck. You're going to pin it. I mean, yes, you could do like dead center and do a cross. This, I think, is a little more comfortable. So, when you're doing this, we're going to pretend this is your dress. So, we're going to put this way, this way. Okay. Now, we're coming across. So, we're coming and you're going to give this a slight angle on this side. Now this is where it gets tricky, because in all actuality you want to have these pinned on both sides. Okay, then you're going to take and you're going to do, like I said, you're going to do both straps, so you'll have crisscross. Now we're going to pretend this is your dress or your shirt or whatever if you're doing straps. What you're going to do is you're going to pull the strap back so you can get this angle, but it's in an angle, but you're going to go across. You're going to sew straight across, because we're going to snip this afterwards. That's the reason we cupped it. You're going to come across, and if you haven't, you can finish hemming. And of course, this would probably be up higher, so that it would be like that. And come across again. You see how the strap is out of the way because of the way I put it? You come across. And in actuality, you're going to put it over the, you're going to take the extra piece off, so you have what's called the sleeve table. Or at least that's what I call it. and then you're going to go, like I said, around. And you're going to try and keep your hem as even as possible. If you have a different colored thread or the same colored thread as the fabric, then you'll be better. But because we've pulled the strap back, we're not worried about going over the top of it. So you want to pull it back so it's hanging towards the bottom of the dress.